Alright, so this is the first kind of tutorial thing that I will be doing. This is about pixel edit and animation specifically. You may have noted animation class. It's not a class. It is what it is. But I will go through the process of making an animation in pixel edit. It's what I do a lot. It's what I like to do. Somebody wanted it. Put all that together, and now we're here. So, it's going to be the bare essentials, and then a little bit of a demonstration just so that you can see the processes. Alright, so to create an animation, doesn't matter what file you're in. This bottom left thing, if you have the full version and you paid the $9 it takes to support that beta and the gentleman working on it, it's right there. You hit that little plus. The little plus is right down there. Once you hit that, you see that little animation right there. That is your animation. Or at least that's where your animation lives. That's where it has its own information, its name. I am an animation. Frame duration, that's how long each individual frame stays on the screen by default. Leave it at 100 for now. It's more than adequate for what you might be doing until you find you want to add a little more pizzazz into things. The length is how many frames it is, but you're noticing, oh no, there's only one block there. It doesn't look like there are any frames, but okay, this is 4 frames. Base tile is 0. That's the very first frame that it's going to start on. All right, well, we don't have 2 frames, do we? You can tell because there's a border, there's a little blue border around that right there. So go up to Document, Resize Canvas. You can do this either when you start, you can choose how many frames you want, or you can do it right now, Document, Resize Canvas, and pick the number of tiles. The number of tiles wide or high, doesn't matter. That's how many frames that you have. It reads from left to right, like English, and left to right, and each line is, well, you'll see that part. That part's not hard to tell. So 8 wide, and let's say 2 high. We'll have 16 frames to work with. Hey, ignore that. There are errors in pixel edit. They handle themselves pretty gracefully. So now you can see we actually have frames to work with. We have this blue is the start of our animation. This orange is the end. What we don't want to start on anything but the first frame, so frame 0. And there's 16 frames, so we want 16 frames. You can see the little doodads moving, shows you exactly what you need to see. So now you have those things. Let's go down the list. We have more than 2 frames. Check. Select the frame range for your animation. Check. Done. I misread that word tiles. Had 3 T's in it for me. Anyway. Moving on. What's next? Next, animate. It's time to animate. So, little things make big things happen. This down here, this is an individual frame editing window. You'll see the same thing here, here, and here. What does that mean? This is the everything. You can see everything here. Each one of these frames has its own stuff. I swear I animate better than that. Probably. Excuse me. But down here, this tiny little thing, this is next frame, previous frame. You can step through like that. But that is, well, it's fine if you want to go slow. There are quicker ways. A shortcut, if you will. But bam. The comma / left arrow key and period / right arrow key let you go through things at lightning speeds, or reasonable speeds if you want to flip back and forth. It's pretty natural. Get used to it. You're going to be doing it a lot. Another way to do it: hold Control and scroll wheel. By the way, these are all PC shortcuts. I only worked on this with PC. I don't have any Macs. I don't make baller cash. I make live life comfortably cash. relatively comfortably. I have a cat in my lap and I'm in an apartment. I'm not complaining. So, yeah, these things assist in animating. And in general, I skip between these two. This playback here, this playback is good when we start having something to show. Then, you know, I'll show you why. So this is bigger. Let's do it here. I'm just gonna do what I always do when I want to animate something. Not on frame 13 to start with, although it doesn't matter. Let's go to frame 1. Just classic ball bounce. Nothing too special. But you're like, wait a minute, what's happening on the frame before it? How do you know where to put your thingy? I've done a billion of these. A billion? I've done like 27 ball bounces. And each one is a little worse than the last. It's not entirely true. I just like razzing myself. Alright, so playback has a constant. It will constantly play back and it updates in real time. You can even see your cursor in the playback window if you look real hard. It's playing a little slow, and I'm assuming that's because I have about 3 things open that honestly it doesn't like. So let's go back to that frame duration, change it to 80. That's a bit better for a ball bounce. It's a little more like what I expect. Excuse me. Let's take a look at those tips. I wrote these down as my own personal cheat sheet. Oh, that's right. Onion skinning. Onion skinning is your friend. And it can be your enemy. It's a crutch sometimes. Don't always use it. But how do I know where to put the next frame? Experience. And also from abusing onion skinning. But I can already see a couple of places where I can improve the placement of that ball, like right here. Just in general and in life, just because it's pixel art doesn't mean it doesn't follow very similar rules. That onion skin previous frame, there we go, brain. That one and next frame, that can show you roughly where to in-between something. It is not the be-all, end-all, but it is a useful tool, and it should be treated as such. Don't rely on it, but don't be afraid to use it. It's a good thing. So we have onion skinning. That's fine. In more complex animations, it's the screen can be a bit jumbled, but if you know what you're looking to go between, then you'll gain an eye for it. And just some drawing tips in general. The 1 pixel line tool up there, this right here. Can you see that? I think you can see it. I'm still gonna highlight it. That little thing right there, at the left side of that box, in my tutorial highlighty boxy thing. Go away. That makes it so that when you're drawing a line and it's 1 pixel large, you don't get any meaty garbage that you may or may not want. So if you're making a smooth line, you don't get any of this nonsense if you have 1 pixel line on, no matter what you do. It's a really neat feature, and there's a different program. I don't remember. Oh no, I think it's ProMotion. ProMotion, you have to buy the program to have that feature enableable, which I find a little humorous, because I can use this for what I use it for. I think ProMotion has a wider subset of Photoshop-esque features that are also just as geared toward pixel art. I'm getting off subject. Check out ProMotion sometimes. It's pretty neat. And color palette. It's always nice to have a good starter palette to use. Arnie 64 has been my go-to. I also actually really love the Game Boy Color palette. I just need excuses to use it. But go through there on your own. You'll like it. You'll see things. They'll shock and disgust you. But one of the things that I did not write down. Oh yes. See how this ends before the thing. Like, I have more frames than I need. In some ways that's good, in some ways that's poor planning or poor ball bouncing. But I know I'll make another bounce in here. I'm not gonna start a new project. That'd be silly, Adrian. So just, whoop, there we go. Ball bounce. We know this has to go down and hit the ground at 8. So I have to speed it up at a reasonable pace. Usually ball bounces go down exponentially. We are going to miss that thing by a hair. No, instead of missing it exponentially, I'll do the good old squash and stretch. Something to remember about pixel art. And I don't even remember if I've already said it, but the same rules apply. It's still animation. All the animation rules that apply to normal animation apply to this. Don't neglect that. It's actually one of the more charming parts about all this, is that I still get to practice animation, but in a smaller resolution, which means I can finish things more efficiently. I'll do some squash and stretch mess on that in a second. But then you just go back up, finish out your curve a little, and then okay. So where did I fuck it up? That's always the question. All right, so it's 1 pixel too small on the way back up. 2 pixels too small. Yep. Down. We'll also give her wet 4 here. What's a wet 4? It's about 9:15. You do generally want to preserve the volume of your pixels, because why the hell not? And this frame right here, I know. Okay, so just a tip that I have some books if anybody actually wants to look at some animation-y stuff after this. I have some books at the end that I'll whore out. I enjoy them. I enjoy all books on animation, but these are the ones that really stuck out in my brain. You kind of want change to happen in what's the word? If there is going to be change, I can't remember the way he put it, but it made an awful lot of sense. It made an awful lot of sense if you're a reader, unlike me right now, then it's worth your time and effort to figure out what it is. So, but he goes down, bloop, and he's coming back up. Honestly, Adrian, I don't know how you still have this job. In my normal time, I am an animator for human dollars. I have fun. I primarily work in motion capture. It is an order of magnitude different from this, but it is also its own kind of rewarding. So I can't really complain. Different is different. It's not worse, and in some cases, not better. Oh, but I think I can get away with a little bit of murder here. Can I? Is it just pausing there? Yeah, it's just pausing there. So, aha, that's what you do. Your first frame is not gospel. You change it as you need it, and then you don't get any weird pauses in there. It's actually a ton easier to do this in pixel art than it is in other things. It's not the perfect ball bounce, but you can see what I'm going for. And I knew that I would need 8 frames to hit. Technically 8 frames to start coming back up, but not yet releasing there. And then this arcs are super important in an animation. So this arc, which drawing lines as long with the mouse makes me look like I have a shaky disease that I do not have. But you can see here in this playback window, it is basically following that arc but smoother. And same with this ball bounce here. It is following an arc, but it is also moving forward at the same time. Sorry, my hand is hitting things on my board, and it is driving me a little bit nutty. But it also goes off the screen, so you can see the benefits of both. Loops like this are good practice. I don't know how much you'll use this in the real world, if ever. If you're not an animator, probably never. Yeah. I'm gonna guess never, but you know. And just for funsies, I do tend to do a lot of effecty things that resemble effects, but honestly, I wing it, and if it looks like what I want it to look like, I'm having a good day. If it doesn't, I just redo it until I'm having a good day. There we go. We'll go with that. Can you see that? Does that show? Oh yeah, it shows up fine. I don't know why I worry about that kind of stuff. But this change from this frame to this frame is actually a little off center, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So, how do we tell that? Let's see if I'm crazy. Yeah, looks like 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Yep, I'm crazy. Oh, it is an optical illusion. Moving on. So the squishy deals, totally word, industry standard word, really. Let's have a poof on this side. Let's have a poof that I actually like on this side. I'm not going to edit this video down. You're going to see pretty much all of the horrible things that I do to get away with what would be borderline murder if this was over 64 by 64 in one frame. Also, this is 64 by 64, which makes it just easy. There's no fussing with things. If you keep your pixel lines clean and you keep perspective in mind, if you need to worry about perspective at all when you're drawing, this is one of the easier mediums that I've worked with, and I've worked with a lot of full-sized 640 by 480 style animations, and honestly, that has its own charm, and I love it. This I can finish in a reasonable amount of time, and it doesn't look like complete garbage if my line weights are off. All of my line weights are so easy to control. I don't know. When I get some time, I'll get back to it. But you can see some of the results. That effect doesn't super match up with the red ball, but honestly, it's okay. It's not gonna live or die by that sword. But I am gonna try to fix it. Fix it if I can. Here's the thing. If you redo something, you'd probably do it better than you did the first time, as opposed to just letting yourself get away with it. You can redo something and do it better, quicker than you did the first time when you failed the first time you tried it. So don't discount. Yeah, don't discount trying harder. Trying story time. One of the first things that I had to animate in 3D when I didn't know any 3D was a walk cycle. It took me forever. I thought, like, I stuck with something that I did in 8 hours, and I was like, this looks okay. I showed it to the guy that told me to do it, and he was like, this looks like crap. So I took that to heart. I redid it a bunch. I mean, I redid the same walk cycle for 4 weeks, and every time something would go wrong, I would learn from that mistake, and I would do it again, and again, and again. And when I did something in about 4 hours, and I was like, I don't even know if I like this. I couldn't see the forest for the trees. And eventually, when I got around to actually showing the guy, he was like, "This is looking good," and I was like, "Oh, thank God." And from there, like, things started clicking, and I got a little braver, and somehow I got a job. And that's what I'm telling you. Redo stuff. It's not a mark of shame. It's a mark of you learn something, do it again. Do it again, and as long as you're not hating what you're doing, you're probably going to do it better. So, I hope you're inspired by something. Excuse me. Let me say that like I'm not a demon. I hope you're inspired by something, and just go for it. Yeah, I think this will That's enough on the smoke back up. But yeah, experiment with stuff. It's really easy and fun to just mess with crap in pixel art. There's no wrong answer, but you can be judged by your work. So just go for it. Go for it, and then ask, can you do better next time? And most of the time when I see something I do, I'm like, oh god, I have to do better than that next time. Alright, so if you did want to, alright, let's give you a troubleshooting. Try to put in the number of frames you think you'll need. If you don't, and you needed to add a frame, go back to that resized canvas, add yourself a shame row. It's not a shame row, or a shame wow. It's just, it is what it is. So imagine, if you will, that this needed to be an entire another thing longer. So one of the tools is the tile tool. You press A, that is the shortcut. Looks like this. And it has a 0 next to it because that's technically the tile that it has selected. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of it, but you right-click a tile, you select that tile. That X means it doesn't have a designation, which means it's not, you're, just like the name implies, a tile tiles, but this isn't a tile. This is just an empty frame. So if I right-click that and I bring it down, I can right-click, bring it down. You may see where I'm going with this. I've now copied that entire row, and I can delete this middle row multiple different ways. If you press S for the select tool, that doodad, and you double-click a frame, you can change these settings in your preferences right here in settings. Just look at this, check all these boxes, make sure that all that's the same as what I got, and go nuts. And also you'll be able to follow any shortcuts that I have real easy. And you hold Shift to add to your selection, but that double click still applies. You can do it like this. I know you can't see that middle one because it is hidden behind the gray frame. And you can Control X to cut, you can press delete, you can do almost anything. You could make the eraser tool the size of this entire canvas and just go nuts. But I don't need to do that because I'm good. Also, if you did happen to delete a frame, like so, deselect it, press A, right-click the empty frame, and then just paint an empty frame over everything. As long as it's not a tile, you'll be good to animate all day and all night. So, fun feature, fun fact, something you should do whenever you want to do it, undo. Undo, undo, undo for days. I can undo this entire file if I wanted to. You know what? Let me see if I can actually undo the entire file. Starting now. Maybe get close. I don't think I'm going to make it. Oh, shit. Nope, undid it all. I undid literally everything. And Control Y to redo. There's a lot of undos. There's a lot of spilt milk you can unfuck. Pardon the language. I'm not going to edit that out either, but if there are young people, I apologize somewhat. Because animation is for everyone. But so is swearing if you're not a jerk. I'll try to control it. Anywho, so that is the basic overview. Animation is fun. That is one of my notes. Books you should consider. The Animator Survival Kit. It's got animation formulas, things about bouncing balls. It's got a little bit about everything, walk cycles for days. I'm not entirely sure if you can hear me rubbing my hands together, but that's how excited I am. Drawn to Life 20 Golden Years of Disney Masterclasses. I pour this book out. I love this book. Both of them, Volume 1 and 2. It both chronicles the life of, I believe his name is Walter. Damn it, I can't remember his name. It's going to bug me. I'll let you guys look into it on your own. Regardless, those three books, if you're interested in animation, are must-reads. The Animator Survival Kit, take it with a grain of salt. You will develop your own styles, but it has a lot of good lessons in there. Don't take anything as gospel, and just look at it, read it, take away something from it, and then keep going. That's generally how I approach things. I don't think I have anything else for you. So my cat does not want to say anything. Do you? Do you? No. All right. I think that'll do it. Actually, should I? I shall. I will show you a sneak peek. I work on a game, but you know what? No. No. Check out the game stuff on your own time. This will just be about animating and pixel edit. I like both of those things an awful lot. So much so that I've worked with some people and we use that for 95% of the art that is unique. Anywho, I think that'll do it. Everybody have a good night. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you want me to make anything else about pixel edit or animation or do something a little more complex than a bouncing ball, I can show you something that has nothing. Alright, so this is something else that I've done. This is something that I did for fun. 16 frames. Might be able to see a theme. This one I actually used a tablet to get the nice flowy lines, but that's mostly because the resolution is so big. I did go back and finish it up with a mouse. And you can see that you just play with colors, you play with backgrounds. I tried to add a background in this. I'm not a very strong illustrator, so I try extra hard, but I also do this for fun, so I try not to kill myself if it's not absolutely necessary, just for the sake of having a good time. And like each one, like all these little effects here, that's all mouse. Mouse and click is pretty much all you need for any, like I said, any 64 by 64. You're doing just fine with the mouse. Anything bigger than that, maybe you consider some help. But anyhow, that's it. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop talking the talk. Let you guys walk the walk. Ask me any questions. You know how YouTube works, so do the thing. Have a good night, good day, good morning. There's no time to this.